Hey, what's going on guys? Ash here, back again with another video, and this is a kind of video that a lot of people have been wanting me to do for a while, and that is an iceberg challenge. Now, if you don't know what an iceberg challenge is, it's a bunch of facts about a certain media where the top ones are the ones that everyone knows, and then the bottom ones are the more hardcore trivia for the hardcore fans. So I wonder how much of this stuff I actually know, and if I'm going to get all of this right. So I don't think there's an answer sheet on where I found this on Reddit. So if I get stuff wrong or you think I'm wrong, feel free to leave a comment down below correcting me with what you think I got wrong or what you know I got wrong and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's begin. So first up, Power Rangers takes place in a single universe. Now, this is something that a lot of people talk about. Power Rangers kind of did take place in a single universe for the longest time until Dino Fury and until Dino Charge and RPM, and then the multiverse got kind of split up. So, the Saban universe. Now, this Saban universe thing, I'm guessing what this is. It's the Saban universe that Saban was building back in the 90s with Big Bad Beetleborgs, VR Troopers, Masked Rider, and Knights of Turnerborg, whatever they were called. I can't... Knights of Mystic something. So I believe Saban was kind of building his own MCU at the time, because there was crossovers between like Next Mutation and Masked Rider and stuff like that, and they even had comics where they crossed over and stuff like that. So Saban was kind of building his own universe, you could say, back in the 90s. Alright, next up, the Yellow Ranger was originally male. Now, this is based on the Sentai Zyuranger, where the Yellow Ranger was called Boy, and it was a boy. The Yellow Ranger in the Super Sentai was a boy, and I highly recommend watching Zyuranger, because I recently watched Zyuranger a couple of this month, a while ago, and it's my third watch through of it, and I just love watching Zyuranger. It's pretty fun. Red Wild Force Ranger, Manslaughter. A lot of people know about this. Wild Force Red Ranger, back in 2014, 2015, I believe, he murdered his roommate in self-defense, and he has been in jail for a while. I think recently he just got out, but a lot of people know about this because it was all over the news when it happened. Alright, so I think we're getting into the theory stuff as we go down. Some of it. So, the morphers hold knowledge. So, this is a fan theory that the morphers hold knowledge, such as giving the Rangers abilities to fight and stuff like that. I've heard this theory going around that some people believe that the morphers have knowledge and the abilities to give the Rangers the fight. That's why some of them aren't fighters when they first join the team, and then when they morph, they can kick butt. Fake Power Rangers. Yes, there's been several fake Power Rangers, whether it's bootleg merch, teams, and stuff like that. There are fake Power Rangers out there in the actual Power Rangers universe and outside of the Power Rangers universe, in the real world, you could say. The medicine was actually weakening Master Xandred. I've heard this theory before. The medicine was making him sicker. It was making him not so well. So that's the theory I've heard going around. Like, the medicine he was always drinking in Samurai was not making him get better, and that's why he never fully, like, people say he never fully recovered in the show, here and there. So a lot of people have that theory that the sake, or the medicine is what they called it in Neo Saban, the booze he was drinking was actually weakening him. The Morphin Grid is a sentient being. I've heard this theory going around as well. A lot of people think the Morphin Grid is its own being. They think it's a sentient being. It's something out there. And that's kind of a hard thing to talk about, because no one really knows what the Morphin Grid is. And it's one of those theories that a lot of people are trying to decipher what the Morphin Grid is and what it does. The Z-Wave. The Z-Wave is what happened at the end of Power Rangers in Space, where Andros destroyed Zordon's tube and let out a bunch of energy that purified all the bad guys in the universe. Well, all the bad guys at the time, because Power Rangers in Space was meant to be the last ever Power Rangers season. It was meant to be no more Power Rangers after In Space, so they wanted to wrap up everything really quickly. So they wanted to, make everyone, all the bad guys we've seen, good again or destroyed and stuff like that. So that's why people like Lord Zed turned human and stuff like that. The original Yellow Ranger died. Yes, unfortunately, Tui Trang is unfortunately not with us anymore, and she passed away over 2 decades ago, I believe. So, yeah. Zack Taylor had a missing finger. Yes, a lot of people know about this, or some people know about this. Walter Jones has a missing finger. I believe it's his middle finger is the missing finger. So they did a lot of camera work and a lot of trick work where Walter wouldn't show his finger here and there. Even when morphing, his morphing pose was very different. So there's some shots where you can see Walter's missing finger if you go back and watch Mighty Morphin, but they did a lot of interesting camera shots to hide it, where something would be covering up Zack's hand, or Zack would have his hands in his pockets in some shot, or he'll have one hand on the table and stuff like that. So there was a lot of interesting camera work to hide it here and there. Zordon is originally the White Ranger, so that's the theory going around. A lot of people thought that Zordon was the original White Ranger. Now, this is a theory that's been debunked and not proven, that Zordon was not the original White Ranger. Maybe they'll make this theory come true in the comics. Probably not. But that's a theory that a lot of people thought going around, that Zordon was the original White Ranger. Divatox's fiance, twin brother of Dark Spectre. Okay, I've seen this one. So the Malagor in the Dark Spectre costume, it's the same costume. They reused the same costume from the Turbo movie for Dark Spectre, and a lot of people thought they were related and stuff like that. So it's a theory that a lot of people still bring up to this day, where a lot of people think they are related or they're the same race or something like that. Because it's the same costume. A lot of people think they're the same character or they're somehow connected. But nah, Saban was just using the same costume that they had from the movie. They had it lying around in storage. So they thought, hey, why not use this costume? Power Rangers Hexagon. So Power Rangers Hexagon is an interesting thing. I did a video talking about Power Rangers Hexagon a couple of years ago, where it was meant to be a season where it would be kind of like Power Rangers Civil War, where there'd be different Ranger teams on each side, and there'd be sort of like a faction between Tommy and Jason, and they would fight it out eventually. One side would be good, one side would be bad. It was meant to tie up a lot of loose ends in the show. Next up is Terraventure. Terraventure is the spaceship or the colony in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, but if you didn't know, in the comics, it was invented by Grace Sterling, and her base Promethea is shaped like Terraventure. Alright, next up is the Morphin Grid has various powers. So this is another theory that a lot of people throw around about the Morphin Grid, that people think the Morphin Grid has various powers. And although it's a theory, it's kind of true, because the Morphin Grid just does whatever it wants in the show. It made Steel come back to life at the end of Beast Morphers and resurrect him as a human. So, although it's a theory out there, it's kind of true, because the writers can do whatever they want with the Morphin Grid and give it whatever power it wants and make it seem like the Force, where it does whatever it wants. The Rumen Ancient Rangers. So, this could be referring to the a lot of things, like the Sentai teams that weren't adapted, the legendary teams, the never-before-seen powers. I think a lot of people call these the Alien Rangers, and stuff like that. So that's the theory going around. I could be wrong, but I'm guessing that's what it means. The rumored ancient Rangers, older Rangers we've seen in the past. Orange Rangers. Orange Rangers have yet to be adapted into Power Rangers. Well, we kind of have one in the comics, but we haven't had one officially in the TV show yet. So it's kind of unfortunate. Saban or Hasbro, they haven't adapted a show with an Orange Ranger yet. So hopefully they'll get around to that eventually. Rita's summoning of Golda destroyed the world's economy. Again, this is a theory for the Power Rangers movie that came out in 2017. A lot of people think that Golda destroyed a lot of the world's economy. I cannot speak today. Because it was summoned and it sent the world into distress, and a lot of that's the theory going around. Golda sucked all the gold out of the world and did what it did. There's weird theories about it. I don't know the full story, but it's a weird theory and kind of a dumb theory when you think about it. I don't know, it's one of those weird, crazy theories that articles write and then people just run with it here and there. There's a Ranger limit, so I've heard this theory before from that channel I debunked, who also did this one, the Golda theory, and a lot of people think there's a Ranger limit on the team, and that's why there's only been 5 or 6 Rangers here and there, and they think that the Morphin Grid only allows a certain number of Rangers on the team here and there. That's why you don't see 100 Ranger teams or 50 Ranger teams and stuff like that. There's a theory that people think that the Morphin Grid allows a limit. Okay, next up, 332, 339. Oh, this one's got me. I'm guessing it's... Oh, snap. I'm guessing it's a Power Rangers in Space Code. I don't know the full details, so I don't know this one, unfortunately. I'm going to have to pass. That one stumped me. The Edonoids and Siberians are sister species. I haven't heard this theory. I'm guessing it's a theory. So I'm guessing Trip's race and Dex's race from Mars Rider, they're from the same planet or sister planets or similar planets, and people must think they're related. So I'm guessing that's one of the theories going on. Okay, next one. Billy was secretly the Phantom Ranger. Now, I've also made a video on this, on who people thought the Phantom Ranger was at the time. Now, originally, there was plans to make Billy the Phantom Ranger, he invented a clip door and he invented the Phantom Ranger, and there was sort of meant to be a counterbalance. A lot of people thought that Billy was secretly the Phantom Ranger. That's why he could never show his identity. And there's a lot of crazy theories about the Phantom Ranger and who he is, what he is, and it's never been revealed. A lot of people think he's Zordon's son. So Billy secretly the Phantom Ranger is one of those theories that's been around for a while. Elsa is a brainwashed cat. Now, this one is kind of stupid because a lot of people think that Elsa was a brainwashed cat, or she was planned to be a brainwashed cat, I believe. That was one of the plans. If they were able to get Catherine Sutherland, they were going to make, I believe the plans were for this character. It was to make her a brainwashed cat. Cat was evil and Tommy was fighting his wife the whole time. That was the plan from what I've heard. But then people say the teacher at the school was Cat the whole time, or Elsa was Cat the whole time, and they had split personalities. I don't know. It's one of those weird Power Ranger theories that you hear, and you read it out loud, or you hear someone explain it to you, and you're like, wait, what's that? That doesn't make any sense. But again, I make Power Ranger theories, so what am I to talk about? Alright, next up, the asteroid that strikes the Earth is actually what creates the original Dino Gems. Now, I've heard this theory before. The asteroid that strikes the Earth in Power Rangers Dino Charge, a lot of people believe that that asteroid also created the Dino Gems and Dino Thunder. I've heard that theory going around, and I believe it's one of those plausible theories that I can actually believe, because it kind of makes sense here and there when you think about it. I mean, an asteroid struck the Earth, wiped out the dinosaurs that Sledge let off, and then it created the Dino Gems and got their DNA. I can't remember how the Dino Gems work entirely, but it's a theory that sounds plausible, and I believe it's got some weight to it. The Rangers in between seasons. So, I believe this is someone asking, what are the Rangers doing in between seasons? Where are they? What are they doing? And a lot of people wonder how come, Tommy doesn't show up when stuff is going down in like Lost Galaxy or Light Speed, or where are the other Rangers that never show up after their season ends. So a lot of people ask the question, what happened to the Rangers in between seasons? So that's the question that a lot of people are asking, like, where are they? What are they doing? Next up, Ninja Storm Red Ranger. So unfortunately, the actor who played Ninja Storm Red unfortunately passed away in 2019. There's a lot of other stuff that goes into it that I'm not going to bring up because it is some dark stuff, but yeah, unfortunately he passed away a couple of years ago. Next up is the Power Rangers curse. Now, this is something that I've heard going around, that a lot of Power Ranger actors either unfortunately pass away or they can't find work or something bad happens to them. So a lot of people think there's this Power Rangers curse that goes around, that if you work on Power Rangers, something bad is going to happen to you. You're either going to die or pass away and stuff like that. It's a theory I've seen going around for other shows, because there's the Seinfeld curse, where a lot of the actors on Seinfeld, they struggled to find work and have shows and careers running after Seinfeld. So it's one of those TV curses where after they leave like a really big show and they try finding other work, something bad happens. So I've heard this theory going around before, and I might make a separate video on it, either debunking it and talking about the origin of it. Power Rangers, the lost episode, The Hidden Ranger. I don't know what this one is about, because there's a lot of Power Rangers lost episodes here and there, so this could mean anything. But I'm guessing it's a lost episode that I haven't covered on the channel or talked about. So this one stumped me. Family Connection. So I've seen this one going around. A lot of people think that certain characters are related to other characters because of their last names. I believe a lot of people think that Z from SPD is related to Danny in Wild Force because they have the same last name. A lot of people think, oh, what's another one? I'm trying to think. But there's a lot of family connections and a lot of people think they're related because they have the same last name. I think a lot of people think that Kendall and Kendricks are related because they have the same last name, I believe. But it's that weird connection that people try making because characters have like the same last name. So people just try tying it together and here and there. I've heard that theory going around that some people think certain characters are related. Alright, so we're getting closer and closer to the end. Power Rangers Megaforce is actually a training simulation run by Tommy. I've heard it's actually a training simulation theory, but not the run by Tommy stuff. I haven't heard that one. So I've heard that theory before. So a lot of people think that Megaforce or Super Megaforce is actually a training simulator, training Rangers in the future for bigger battles. Tommy is Zordon's son. I've heard that theory before. Ivan Ooze takes place in another universe. Alternate universe. Well, that's kind of confirmed. That's like sort of confirmed that the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie is a different continuity. The evil dimension. So this is a theory that bad guys, when they die, they go to the evil dimension. It's like a weird Saban, the next dimension, Dragon Ball Z dub change thing. But a lot of people think there's an evil dimension that where all the bad guys come from, and when they die, they get sent there. I don't know. It's this weird, crazy theory that I've seen going around. The Power Rangers Civil War plot. Check Hexagon, because that's what Hexagon is kind of based on. The Scorpion Rain hoax. So I believe I haven't made a video on this yet, but Estee made a video on it. So here's my memory of it. This is a theory, not a theory. This was a hoax that went around where there was like edited footage of what seemed like the season finale of Power Rangers Zero, when Lord Zed came back, he revived Serpentera. It was meant to be the true finale of Power Rangers Zero that wrapped up all the loose ends, instead of doing the Turbo movie. So it's got a lot of history behind it, and I believe it was written by the same guy who did Forever Red. Okay, Zordon is evil. I've heard this theory going around. People think that Zordon is evil. Casey is dead. I've heard this theory. A lot of people think at the end of Wild Force, Casey is dead. And I can understand where it also comes from, because when he appears in Super Mega Force, he kind of disappears like a Force ghost, where he was like, there was no one who ever worked here at the zoo. So people believe he's dead or his spirit lives on or something. Ivan Ooze lives, so a lot of people think that Ivan Ooze is alive and running around in the Power Rangers universe somewhere. Movies, Zordon, Rita, and Alpha 5 have no idea the Rangers Zords could even form the Megazord. I believe that's a theory. I think that's a theory. I have not heard that theory. I have not heard that theory before. So I'm guessing that's a theory from the 2017 movie. I have no idea. Tommy is actually a clone. I've heard this theory before. A lot of people think that Lord Zed used the evil Tommy clone from Return of the Green Ranger, and that's the real Tommy the whole time. Like, he replaced, like, he murdered the Tommy we know, and that Tommy clone has been taking his place ever since. Okay, the mob is extorting money from RJ, so I believe this is a theory going around that people thought that the mob was extorting money from RJ, I believe. So I could be wrong, but like I said, if I am wrong, comment down below. The giant kid crying in MMPR Megazord fight. Okay, so back in the early days of MMPR, they had a really hard time cutting around the Japanese footage. And in the episode with Mr. Tickle Sneezer, there's a giant crying kid in that fight. Like, it's a pause and you miss it moment where you see this Japanese boy standing beside the Megazord fight. So I'll have an image of it on screen just in case you missed it. But there's a lot of scenes like that where you can see the Japanese actors or Japanese actors or actresses in MMPR. Rita Repulsa's boobs were cone shaped. Well, that would explain a lot if it's true. And Zordon was Ernie. So this was a theory or a plan that they were going to do, that Zordon was going to be Ernie the whole time. And that's why you never saw Zordon and Ernie in the same room, or when the Rangers were at the juice bar, Ernie would be watching over him and stuff like that. It's a weird, crazy theory I've heard going around, and I believe that they were planning to do it at some point in MMPR, but they scrapped the idea. So, yeah. So, that was the Power Rangers Iceberg. It was kind of a longer video than I expected, but I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if I got anything wrong, feel free to tell me in the comment section down below. Hopefully I tested my Power Rangers knowledge very well. So, with that said, I'm bringing this video to a close. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day or night. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Take care. Bye.